Hopefully we'll be done by 11, and if we are a minute or two over, hopefully we will not cut out. But just that's what happened, and we don't know. Yes, Ruth.
I couldn't find the prayer for Israel last week. I looked in all my Siddurim, and I ended up having to download it from the web.
The prayer for Israel? Wait, the prayer for Israel? You couldn't find. Which Siddur do you have?
They're very old.
My
kids got them for their bat mitzvahs eons ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it won't be now.
Yeah, because in any of the conservative Siddurim that are used now, the prayer for Israel is there.
Right. Well, I was so frustrated last week because I kept looking and couldn't find it.
Very strange. Well, maybe it's from before the state of Israel, because it clearly is referring to the state, not just the land. You will actually not find the prayer for Israel in some of the Haredi Siddurim. You will not see a prayer for Israel. But in all of ours, you will. Anyway, we will begin. We are going to go over Ein Eloheinu again. Whoops, what happened? Annalie, what did you do?
I don't know what happened.
What happened?
I have no idea.
Did somebody else take control of the host? What's going on?
There we go.
Okay, we're back.
It went over to somebody else.
That was funny. I don't know what happened.
Excuse me, Judy.
Yes.
Judy, it's Lucy. I have a suggestion. Can you possibly tell us ahead of time, what we're going to be?
Sure, I will do that for next
doing
week.
The week after, so we can start looking at. Okay.
Absolutely. Will do.
I'll be on in a few minutes.
Okay, we'll do that. Well, I'll try to do that. Okay. So anyway, we are going to go back to Ein Eloheinu and just do it quickly. It should not take a long time. But I just didn't want to leave us hanging there, particularly because it's a meaningful prayer to me. In the Slim Shalom, it's page 182. In the Lev Shalom, the red book, it's 204. In the complete Slim Shalom, it is page 508. So whichever one of those books you have, and which one you have, you need it repeated, please tell me.
Someone has two Zooms on.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to mute everybody. Just have to figure out how to do that. I've never done it. Okay. Oh, breakout rooms. Ooh, I'm not gonna do that. Let me see. I'm gonna ask first before I try to do that, if everybody would mute themselves, unless you're talking, and please feel free to ask a question, make a comment, whatever it is, feel free. But if you're not, I ask that you be muted so that we don't have background noise. Ooh, somebody, yeah. Barry?
It looks like it's coming from Phyllis's phone.
Excuse me.
Judy, we lost you.
Judy, you have to mute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Excuse me, what page are we on?
Of course, I muted everybody, including myself. What page and which book, Linda?
The blue book, the blue Sim Shalom.
I know, but there's two Sim Shaloms. The little one, the one that has all the prayers in it, and the one that only has Shabbat and that is
Shabbat
and festivals. Shabbat and festivals. It's on 182.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'll mute myself.
No problem. Anybody can feel free to unmute yourself. I'm just muting everybody just because it's that way we don't have background noise. Okay. And somebody's gonna unmute themselves because I'm gonna ask for a volunteer for the first. Oh, hello, Mel. Okay, great. Okay. First two lines. Faye, okay, unmute yourself.
Okay. Just read the prayer. I mean, how?
Yeah, all the aim pieces. The first two lines.
Oh, okay. In
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu.
Great. We talked a little bit about talking about what the prayers mean. Just two things I'm going to say now, and we did it a little bit in our other class, so I don't want to belabor the point. But the new ending is us. Most of our prayers, a lot of our prayers are actually in the first person plural. We pray as a community. You can pray anytime, anywhere. You don't have to use the liturgy, but a lot of our liturgy is in first person plural rather than singular. Also, the key, we talked about root words. In the first one, it's Kelohenu. Elohenu is the main word, and the ka is just a prefix. It's our God. Kadonenu is our Lord, from Adon, Adonai. Kemalkenu, does anybody know what the Hebrew or English root word is there? Before, yes, Beth.
For Melech, for king.
Good, Melech, good, exactly, king. Okay, and the last one is a little more tricky. Moshienu. It's what we usually hear is Moshiach, which is
Our
Messiah.
God.
it's Savior, Deliverer, Messiah, whatever. That is the root of that word. Okay. Next one, me, who is Gail Sussman, and then Ruth Shapiro after.
Mi Keloheinu, Mi Kadonenu, Mi Kamalkenu, and Mi Kamoshienu.
Perfect. As we talked about last week, it's really a cha, it's not a ka. And Gail, I think you did this last week too, but it's okay. But I just want to clarify the pronunciation. Okay, Noda, Ruth.
Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Lamoshienu.
Good. Okay. Now we have Baruch, blessed, Beth, and then Linda will be after Beth.
Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu.
Good. Next
Atahu,
one.
Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
Good. Who's going to be brave? Celia, you're going to be brave and do the last part. I have confidence in you.
Atahu Shehituru Avotenu Livneka et
Yeah.
Hadores Hasamim.
Good. It's lifanecha. Okay.
Lifaneka.
Okay. And for people that I don't know that if you weren't in my class last time, we have the metek, which is the line that goes down with next to the vowels. Normally, in Hebrew, the emphasis is on the last syllable, but sometimes it's not. And when the metek, that line that goes down, and you can see it under lifanecha, under the ne, under the nun, there's a line that goes down next to the three dots. That means the emphasis is on that syllable, not on the last one. It's on the one that has the metek. So just since we're supposed to be becoming really familiar and comfortable with our Hebrew, knowing the vowels and the letters, that's like one step past the very beginning. So you should know that. So when you see that, you know that the emphasis is on that syllable. Okay, great, done. We know that. Anybody, everybody, great. Okay, now, so we're done with Enkeloheinu, that's done. Okay,
Well,
maybe
Judy,
we'll, yes.
Before you go
Say,
further,
I'm here.
The Avotenu before Lefanecha, it has the same line under the Tav. So it would be
Avotenu rather than Avotenu.
Avotenu.
You hear it? And actually, if you think about it, you probably knew it was Avotenu anyway.
Right.
But with words that you don't know or you're not sure, now you know what it's supposed to be, which I learned from the class, because I never really, it wasn't part of when I learned Hebrew, that wasn't one of the things we talked about.
Well,
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Judy, what does Nodell mean?
Oh, no, that is thanks. It's part of like Todah. If you have Todah Rabbah, thank you very much. It's part of the same, from the same root.
Nodell Eloheinu means what?
Thank you to God. Yeah,
So Nodell means thank you, like Todah?
yeah, same
It's
root.
future tense.
Yeah,
Thank you.
one more question, Judy.
sure.
The dots in the last line again, we have in the middle of the letters, like like Hasamim.
Yes. It's a grammatical thing, and if you really read it correctly, you should be reading that consonant twice. Has, sam, mim.
I see.
It really is.
Okay.
That's real. That's real. But when we read it, you don't hear that. But that's really what
So
it
any
is.
letters they have the dots in the middle, that
Well,
means you
but
have
not
to-
all. Not the chaf, and not the bet. and the
Right,
bet.
right. I know
But
that.
the other ones, yes, that's
Yeah.
what it means. It really should be
Okay.
repeated twice. The consonant.
Okay,
You don't
thanks.
hear it normally, but that's what it's a grammatical thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any other questions about Enkelhainu? Okay. And this used to be the last prayer, but it's not anymore, because as they say in our Siddur, everything goes in and not too much goes out. But over the years, different things get added. We talked about the length of services. The first part of the service that we do now with the brachot, which hopefully we'll get to, maybe next week we'll do those, or maybe later today. They were done at home. You didn't do them in shul. When you stretched and when you got up out of bed and all that stuff, you did it at home. But why did you think they put it in as part of the service? Somebody want to guess?
I suppose people weren't doing it, so they made sure it was done.
Thank you. That's exactly right. Linda, I don't know if that's what you had, but yes, Linda also raised her hand, that because people weren't doing it, so they made it part of the service. Okay. Now, I'd like to do the Aleinu, because I think that's an important prayer, and it's one that we do at every single service that we do, whether it's Shabbos or weekday, whether it's morning, afternoon, or night, we do the Aleinu. It is on page 205 in the Lev Shalem, the red book, and the thin Sim Shalom, it's 183. In the complete Sim Shalom, it's 510. But really, more than that, it's the page after Ein Keloheinu. So if you are in your Siddur under Ein Keloheinu, just turn the page and you're in Aleinu. Okay. A volunteer that hasn't read before would be great. Robin. Yes, Robin, and then Linda.
2 lines.
However much you feel comfortable, you can do.
Elena.
I mean, not the whole prayer, but yeah.
Elena Lishabea La Don Ha Call Leha. Sorry. Elena Lishabea. No.
Yes, Aleinu l'shabeach. That part you got perfect.
La Don Ha Call
Good.
Leha.
Latate. Latate.
Latte Gedola. You know what? I'm reading it, but I'm not singing it, so that's why I'm getting confused.
If you want to sing it, you can sing it. If it makes you feel more comfortable.
Elena Lishabeach La Adon HaKol Latte Gedula Leose Bereshit Shelo Wasano Kigo Ye Haratzot.
Okay,
Yeah.
stop. Good, perfect. Yes, it is hard to, I have to tell you, I was reading, I don't even remember what prayer it was with my class last semester, and I found it very hard to read. And it is one that we sing. It's a whole different thing. I don't know why. Okay, yes, but that was when you sang it, it was perfect. Okay, Linda, continue with below.
Me?
Yeah, Linda, didn't you volunteer before?
Yes.
I even
Okay.
wrote it down, Linda, so that I would remember. Oh,
Okay.
there's two Lindas. Sorry, there's two Lindas. Oh, yeah. I had two Joyces last time. There are two Lindas this time. I know you're both there, and it didn't dawn on me. Okay, first Linda Reba, and then Linda Thane. Thank
No.
you.
Okay.
No, you don't
Well,
have to.
I read already, so let someone else go.
Okay. Thank you, Linda. Okay, Linda Reba. You're muted. I think you're reading, but you're muted.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Below Samano, Bakish, Tot,
Chot.
Dama, Shelo, Sam, Halkenu, Bahem.
Yeah, kahem. Sometimes we get okay. You want one more line since it goes to there's a period.
The no route.
Go. It's a gimel. The gimel is very close to the nun. If you look at it carefully.
The go ralenu. Karolo hamonam.
Okay, it's kachol. And just to go over, I don't know for people that didn't have that took a class before or didn't take a class and just came in at this level. The vowels in our Sidurim are more distinct, whatever. The one that looks like a T, sometimes it's A and sometimes it's an O. And in our Sidurim, it looks different. In the Lev Shalem, the bottom of the T is elongated when it's an O sound. And the Sim Shalom, it has a dot under the line.
Oh, I never knew that.
Right. So it's kol, not chal. And you know because in our Siddur it tells us that. In other Siddurim you might not see it, but in ours we do. Okay, so it's kachol.
So it's longer in the kachol, and then in the next word it's shorter.
Yeah, it's nam. It's the T, but it's just a little T, so it's an ah.
Okay.
It says in another Siddur both would look the same, but in ours they make it much easier for us to read. So I appreciate that a lot.
Okay.
Good. So and you can see the metek. We read that. We use the chol and go raleinu. You don't extend too much, but otherwise we go raleinu, and you see the metek under the next. I think it's almost always the next to the last syllable. I don't think it moves any further up, but you can see that. Okay, now we go to who would like to volunteer to read where we're bowing. Annalie.
ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Perfect. Great. No, stop. Okay.
I have a question, Judy, before you go on to the next part. When we bend at the knee,
yes.
So I see some people just kind of like, their knees are straight, but they just bend over. Some people, is there like a special?
And this one we just bend over. The time that we do the bending down and then over when it's Baruch Atah, because there's two words that you do it on. Here it's just bending down. It's not the down and then not down and then.
So you just bend your knee. You're not like leaning over. Is that what you're saying? Okay, thank you.
Over. You just bend. You don't go down and then bend. on Vanachnu, and some people do it on Vanachnu Korim. Vanachnu is, remember what we said is we or us. So, and some people on the actual, on the verb, but that's where you've been for sure.
So how do you
In
know?
the Lev Shalem, at the bottom of the page, it even talks about the bending.
See, look at that. That's why I love this book. If anybody wants to know more about this, about the prayers, and you don't own a Lev Shalem, this is part of the newest series of books from the conservative movement. It doesn't give a lot of explanations and alternative prayers and whatever. Thank you, Cindy. And
One question,
I
please.
recommend it. Yes.
I have a question. Susan, I wonder, in the Vianachnu Korim, is Korim the verb to we bend?
Mhm.
Which word is the verb that tells us?
Bow. We bow and acknowledge. Bow. We're
So
bowing. That's why you just go over. That's really a bow.
But
Like,
Korim is the word that
taking
means
a
bow?
bow. What?
Is Korim the word in that sentence
Yes.
that means?
Yes.
So when we see the word Korim, we know that we're just bowing, we're not going
Yes.
down.
Yes. And it's only I think it's only actually in the meat. I don't think it's anywhere else. I'm not sure.
Can you
We did a
translate
lot
that
Baruch
line?
Atah, and we don't always do it on Baruch Atah either, only sometimes, yes.
Can you translate the line? Because I see 3 words that have im. I'm assuming those are Anachnu
Okay.
verbs. What do they mean, please?
We bow and acknowledge, let's see what I'm looking at, the bow and acknowledge the supreme modim. It's actually not a verb. It's not a verb.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, we'll be doing some translating. I am not a Hebrew scholar. I do not know. I could not translate every word. Obviously, some words I know and some roots I know, particularly the ones that we do often. But this isn't a translation class, but it's more of an understanding class. But please feel free to ask, and if I don't know, I'll tell you. Okay. All right. Now, and also with the reading and singing, I understand it's much easier to sing, and that's okay. We can sing the prayers that you feel comfortable singing rather than reading. But I really want you to pay attention to what it looks like and be able to read, because these words are going to be somewhere else too.
Right.
In another prayer. And I want you to be able to read it when it shows up in another prayer, or when it shows up in whatever else you're reading. So I think it's important to really look and be able to read. And singing works, but at least look and see what it is that you're singing so you can read it somewhere else. Okay. 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 Now we sometimes sing the next part. We sometimes don't. Usually it's not sung except on Shabbat and holidays, the next part, or for you in USY. Just to practice our reading, we'll do a little bit more here. Somebody else would like to read Shehu, Lucy, and then Ruth. But you have to unmute. That's the only problem with everybody being muted.
I thought I did. Now, where am I starting from?
Shehu. We finished the Anachnu Korim, Umishachavim, Modim, Lifnei Melech, Malchei, Hamalachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
All right. Shehu Nota Shamayim, the Yosef Sage. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes. Yes. I just one thing you did. It was a perfect example of Shamayim. It's Shamayim, not Shamayim. There's a metic under the next to the last syllable.
Okay.
Okay.
Shamayim.
The emphasis is on the next to the last.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
forgot
the
all my
heavens.
teaching.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Said, all right, that's good. One more line.
The Yosef, Arech, Umoshav, Yikaru,
Yakaro, it's on the top.
Yikaro, okay. I missed the part with the accents. Forgive me. Vashamayim, Shehu. No, Shehu, not Shehu. Nota, Shemayim, Viom,
I'm lost here.
Aretz, pardon?
Umoshav Yakaro,
Vio-
Bashamayim.
Vios, Said, is that right?
She's on the line before.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm looking after it. I'm not looking
Oh.
before. Okay.
Viosed,
Shehuna Teshamayim, Vioset Aretz. Okay.
is it Viosed, Aretz, Umoshav,
Good.
Ikaru,
Ro.
Ikaro rather, better practice. Bashamayim, Shehu,
Mima'al.
pardon?
Bashamayim Mima'al. Somehow you're in a different place.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait, where am
Practice
I?
is important, and I there's no question. And also, if you go to shul, that helps, or if you listen on live stream or on Zoom, it helps to hear what it's like. I know some of the teachers have provided video audio for people to. I don't know if people are interested in that or not. To have to practice. I have not done that, so let me know. Good. Okay, we talked about the word, so just I appreciate that people want to know what each word, but like when you read Shemayim, you should hopefully we know that means the heavens, and Aretz is earth. So you have some sense of what you're reading, even if you don't know every single word. So please feel free. Okay. Okay. Ushrinat. Who's volunteering for that one?
I think you said me.
Ruth, yes.
So where
Okay.
are we now?
We're
Ushkinat,
on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you're in the Lev Shalem, I don't have the other book open now. I apologize. Ushrinat. It's about 2/3 of the way down. Can you find it? Does everybody have it?
What is it?
Because I really hope, and this is not a personal thing, you need to be able to find your place. That's one of the things. We will get lost, and especially if we're not as fast as somebody else or the person that's leading, we will get lost. But hopefully at this point, your Hebrew is good enough, recognize the vowels and the letters, that you can find your place. And that's what I hope for.
Forgive me though, this is a crazy morning because I have to go
That's
someplace.
okay, I understand, but I'm just, it's hard because we tried to figure out, where to put people and which class was appropriate and whatever. So I'm hoping that most of the people in this class can find their place if you need to. That's the recognition
I just
of
want
the letters and the vowels.
I just want the first word and I'll find my place.
Yeah. That's the idea. Okay. Ruth, was it you now?
yeah.
Okay.
Ushkina, Uzo, Bigov, Hey, Miro, Meme.
But Gove, remember we talked about the difference in that vowel? It's an O sound, not an A sound. The Gove, hey.
Bigov, Hey, Miro, Meme. Hu, Eloheinu, Ein Od. Emet.
He is our God, and there is none others. That's when we talk about the words Ein from Ein Keloheinu. You see it again. Okay. You're great, but there's a period there, so I'm going to ask you to stop, and I'm going to ask somebody else to start with Emet. Zoom user.
Emet Malkeinu, FM Zulato, Kakatu Batorato.
Good. stop for 1 second. One of the things we had a problem with the oo and the o. Just a little hint. The oo is when it's in your belly. You go oo. So in the middle it's oo, and on the top, if it's just a dot or it's above with a dot, it's at the top is o. Okay.
Oh, good. Cockatoo b'torato. V'yadat hayom hasher.
No, stop the first word there. Read it again.
V'yadat, v'yadata.
Good.
Hayom v'hashevota.
Good.
El levavecha ki Adonai hu
1
ha'elo.
second, stop.
Can I ask a
This is
question?
because we're at a higher level now, this is the intermediate level, I'm going to be correcting. And even when you can get away with it, obviously, but I want you to read it as correctly as possible. Remember, we talked about the metek, levavecha. It's not lavavecha.
Can I ask
Okay.
a question?
Yes, Linda.
There, okay, on the word vayadata, it looks like there's that vertical
On the
line.
last one.
Yeah,
Yes,
why would they do that?
I don't know, except I think usually words do not end like that. You don't end with a vowel like that. So I think it has something to do with that maybe there's a letter missing or something. You know what I mean? If you look at all the other, you'll never see that vowel on a consonant at the last word. So I think it must have something to do with that. Okay.
Ki Adonai hu ha'elohim v'shamayim mima'al va'al ha'eretz.
What? Baal what? Wait.
Va'al ha'aretz. Va'al ha'aretz.
Yes.
Mitachat ein od.
Good.
Mitachat ein od.
Yeah. Yes, we're doing we're doing Sephardic Hebrew. I don't know if we talked about that in the beginning of this class, but you may see people in your congregation reading Ashkenazi Hebrew, and it will sound different. There are a few letters and vowels that are different. One of them being tachas or tachat. And yeah, but we're doing the Sephardic Hebrew. So good. Any other questions about this prayer or anything else? Okay, great. Great. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit on, I have to see if I can find it, on the Kaddish, I think. Or maybe we'll wait till next week and I'll have the pages ready, and I don't think I have them ready now. Okay.
Judy, are you talking about the Kaddish Shalem?
Well, that's what we're talking about. That's the issue. We'll talk in 2 minutes about the Kaddish, and we'll get
Okay,
there.
because that's on 203. I've got all the pages marked.
Fabulous. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go. I love you. We say the Kaddish. It really isn't the Kaddish. There are a lot of Kaddishes.
Judi, before we go to Kaddish, do you want to finish the Elenu on the next page, 206? Cockatoo, B'Torah Techa.
Oh, we didn't finish it. You're right. We didn't. Did we finish? We didn't finish.
No, we did not.
We didn't finish. You're right. We didn't finish. I didn't turn the page. Okay. Okay. We could read the next part. You know what? Let's do this. Let's read it, because we are going to practicing reading Hebrew. So it doesn't have to be even the things we all do out loud, because words will show up in different places. So I'd like us to be able to read even the things we don't usually read out loud. And that will help also when you do your silent reading, that you can get a little faster. I know that I went to shul on Shabbos morning always. I went to shul Friday night when I was in USY, because that was a thing to do. I did not go to weekday minyan. At a certain point, I did start going 6 days a week. So I went to weekday minyan 5 days a week. But when I started, couldn't get through a quarter of the prayers as the leader was. Because if you've ever been to a weekday minyan, you know they go very quickly, because people are in a rush to get to work or whatever else, which are not so much on Shabbos. But as I did it more and more, I became quicker. I will never be speedy, but the more you read it, the more you do it, the quicker you'll get. So we're gonna, and the words show up in different forms. So we're gonna continue. On the left shalem, it's alkane. And in all books, it's alkane, but on the left shalem, it's on page 206. On some of the other ones, it may just continue for where you were after the last word was ein od. Okay. So who, I have a volunteer to read alkane. Faye, and then Joyce, and then Ruth. Faye, Joyce, Ruth, and meanwhile, Cindy's being very quiet over there. Welcome. Okay.
Okay, Alkane nekave lecha Adonai Eloheinu lirot mihera betif eret uzecha.
Good.
Should I continue?
Yeah, you can stop for a minute. Remember, whoever asked about the dot, you see it in uzecha also. It's the
Right.
same exact thing that we saw in the mem and in
Right.
the sama. Okay. Just to note that once you see things, you see them, oftentimes.
Right, right.
One more line. How's that?
Okay. Laha avir gilulim min haaretz v'ha'elim karot ikaret vun.
Let's read the last word again.
Ikaret vun. No,
Ikaret tun. Yes, it sounds
Ikaret.
weird. Yes, it does.
Okay.
Okay. The next line, I don't remember who I picked. I was writing it down, but I didn't write down because I'm trying to also take role here. The takane. Ruth, I think you were next.
I was third, but I'll be glad to do it.
Okay, whoever was next, they'll take after Ruth. Yeah.
Litakain olam b'malkut
Malchut.
Shaddai. They call b'nei
V'chol
b'nei basar yikru b'shamecha
bishmecha
lehaf note alecha kol rishay aretz.
Good. I hope some of you also are even just looking at a word. Now I can tell by the way you're reading that you're looking at words and being able to read them. Not some words you're still sending out, obviously, but there are other words that you can look at and just read. And kol hakavod, thank you. Okay, who else did I miss here? Joyce. Joyce, how would you like to go?
Right.
Yakiru.
Yakiru, the aid o.
There's a yud there. The yud has a sound.
The yud o.
The yay.
The yay u.
Do.
Yay.
Right.
Yevade u. Call.
Good.
Yoshbe.
Good.
Tevel.
Yes.
Tevel. Ki.
Yes.
Licha. Tihra. Call. Baruch.
No, look at the vowels. Look at the vowels.
I have to like.
Wait, the vowels are little.
So it has the metake in the first. The metake is in the first syllable.
But yes, but they're so two s. It's not ah. It's berech.
Boruch. Berech.
Good.
Berech.
Good. Berech. Right. We're not used to. We're not used to that sound and that word for sure.
Teshiva. Call. Teshiva kal. Kal. Teshiva kal la son.
Cole, you were right the first time. Look at the vowel
Cole.
underneath.
Cole Lasson.
Lashon.
Shown.
Okay, stop. That's a period. Lashon. Okay, tongue, language. Okay, the left is sinister. And I'm a left-hander. So the left is the S sound, the right is the sh sound. And I can say that because I'm left-handed. Okay. Somebody else, Lefanecha, Celia.
Lefanecha Adonai Eloheinu Yiru Ve'ya Polo Lu Velevod Shemka Yi Kar Yi Tenu.
Good. Yakar Yitenu. Good, perfect. Good. Okay, anybody else want to volunteer for Veyikablu? Rumel.
Viyakablu, kulam,
Kulam.
et ol mil,
No, look at the vowel.
mal, kutecha,
Good.
vetim lok, alehem, mahara,
Mahera.
leolam ba'ed.
Good.
Keep going.
You want to continue?
Ki hamalkut shel ha he ul ol may
Good.
ol may ad timlok bikavod.
Perfect. Good. Okay.
Can I
Now,
ask a question?
Linda, yes.
Is that Team Loke or Team
Team
Loke?
Loch. Team Loch.
That's
We're
what
having
I-
a little trouble with our chiz. Yes, it's Team Loch. One dot is the one that changes it. The two dots is the vowel. Yeah, good. Okay, now somebody that hasn't read yet, because this is the part we do out loud, and you should be able to try this one. Somebody be brave. Who didn't read yet? I don't want anybody on the spot. Eileen, yes, you could read this. Okay.
Kakatu b'tor techa Adonai imlok leolam vayed. V'na'amar.
The Ne'emar.
V'ne'emar. V'ha'i Adonai lamelech al kol haaretz. Vayom hahu Adonai.
No, stop.
Oh, oops, yeah. No. Vayom Adonai Yahi.
No.
No.
Wait, start Bayom again. I'm lost.
Vayom
here.
Adonai.
No.
Okay, I'm getting messed up.
The problem is you're too good. So you think you can zip through it, and I know you usually can, but you have to pay attention. Again, Bayom.
Yahi Adonai.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adonai Echad Ushamo Echad.
Good. Echad is one. We know that from Shema. Good. See, you're too good, Eileen. You got carried away with yourself. You know, it's like when you're rolling downhill. Terrific. Thank you. Okay. Now, if we go back, we can go back to the page before the Ein Keloheinu. Wherever you are, whatever book you're on, the Leinu was the last one we did. Then before that, it was Ein Keloheinu. Before that, it was Kadesh Shalem. There are a lot of Kadishes. The first Kaddish that ever was part of our liturgy was which Kaddish? Anybody know?
Mourners.
Okay, that is the tricky part, because that's the one that most people know. And in fact, that is the latest one. That was actually not until, in the scheme of things, recently. The first one was actually the Kaddish de Rabbanan. And if you're in the service early, that's when it's usually done, fairly early in the service. It's the rabbi's Kaddish, it's the teacher's Kaddish. We do it in our service after we study. So you'll have a few pages beforehand, whatever Siddur you're using, that are actually studied pieces. You read that silently, and then you do the Kaddish de Rabbanan. The Kaddish is in Aramaic. All the Kaddishes are Aramaic, actually, not Hebrew. Aramaic was the language of the people, like English is ours. The Kaddish de Rabbanan can be said by anyone who studies. It can be, if you're in a study session, if you're in an adult education class, you can end with Kaddish de Rabbanan, and everyone can say it. The tradition in most of our shuls is that only the mourners or people that have your site say it. That's just, it's not, certainly not halakha. It's just the way it is. I say it all the time because I learned with Edge Arts. I don't know if anybody have heard of her, but she used to teach in Women's League, and she said that we should all do it. We should all be wanting to bless and make God holy, and that if we take every opportunity. So I do it all the time. There's also the half Kaddish, the Chatzi Kaddish, and the Kaddish Shalem. And it's very easy. One is shorter, and one is longer. And those separate parts of our service. One is a comma, and the Kaddish Shalem is a period. So you'll see them when you go to services, you can notice that. I didn't write them all down now, but when you go, you can see it. Yes, sure, Susan.
Wait,
Sorry,
can
but
you say that again about the comma and the period, please?
The Chatzi Kaddish is a comma, and the Kaddish Shalem is a period. The longer one. It's really a distinction in the service. It separates two pieces of the service. Okay, so that was the second one. And the third one is the mourner's Kaddish, what we call Kaddish Tome, the mourner's Kaddish.
Kaddish
my
what?
husband says that
Kaddish what for the mourners? What's the second
Yatom
word?
is Yatom. It was actually the orphan's Kaddish, because he tells me, and I don't know if this is true, I assume it is, that actually there were children that were mourners, and they weren't in the service, but they wanted to say something. They were orphans. They wanted to be able to say Kaddish, so they added it at the end of the service. And that's why Kaddish Tome. Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Excuse me,
yeah.
Judi, when I wrote to you last week about this, and I appreciate it, I'm real excited to learn the differences. What does the word Kaddish mean? Because as a little girl, I only knew mourner's Kaddish, so I thought that
right, there
Kaddish
were
meant
mourners. No,
mourners.
but also we have other words that are actually from the same root. Does somebody come up with another word that's from the same root?
Kadosh.
Kodesh.
Kodesh, yes. Well, okay, one at a time. Kodesh is one. What else?
Kadosh, holy, like Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh.
Correct. And another one?
Chodesh, new year?
No, different words, different letters. It sounds the same, but it's not. Okay, I'll give you what we drink when we do this one.
Kiddush.
Right, exactly.
Oh.
Okay. And the Kedusha, the Kiddush, those are all from the same root. And yes, it means holy or separate.
So this separates, meaning what you said, or going back to what you said,
we are to separate ourselves. And so the being holy, it's raising yourself. It's the connotations rather than the exact translation. Holy is the translation that we use. And all of those are the same root.
So cool. Thanks.
Yeah. So that's why I can't first of all, and it's not really the purpose of the class, do translations, but to understand a little bit more about what we're doing and what we're saying. So that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, so and the Kaddish Shalem is here. So since it's here, let's read it. Does anybody who wants to read? Is everybody there, first of all? You got the place? Okay. No, you don't have the place? Okay, we were on Olenu. If you still are on the page before is En Keloheinu. The page before that is the Kadesh Shalem, page 203 in the Lev Shalem. I can find it in the other books. Yes, Lucy.
Let me start reading. Okay.
It's
Yes,
Kadesh
Kadal.
Shalem should be.
No.
If you
Wait,
have the full Sim Shalom, it's on page
I have it.
506.
I have it. I have it.
Okay,
Can I ask a question, please?
sure. Anytime.
What is the difference? I read this very rapidly. What is the difference in the wording between this and the Mourner's Kaddish? It seems to be
What
the
is it
same.
there? Okay, well, look at that. I'm not prepared to do that now because it's also 10:55.
Oh,
But
okay.
maybe next week we'll just go over the differences, and I will write out, and so I'll be prepared with the differences between the three of those.
Okay.
Good question.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
Susan?
Can I start? Want me to start?
Yeah, Susan.
Yes,
Wait 1
Kadal,
minute.
yes,
Susan asked. Wait,
Kadal.
1 second. Susan asked a question, I think, or
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I
muted
said good.
herself.
I said good question so that we
Oh.
can hear it. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
So Lucy, you want to start?
Yes, Kadal, yes, Kadal, Shemei Rabo, the Alma, all of a sudden,
Wait, since you stopped, wait 1 minute, since you stopped. This is an example of Ashkenazi Hebrew. I don't know if you heard the difference. Okay? Yiskadal. Okay? I'm not gonna hold it against you, Lucy, but this is an example. If you hear it, it's not that somebody's reading incorrectly, it's that they're reading Ashkenazi Hebrew. Yiskadal v'yiskada shemei rabah. That is
Yeah, I
the
know.
Ashkenazi Hebrew, not Sephardic Hebrew. Just so I'd like you to know the difference. Most of our synagogues, I assume, use the Sephardic, but particularly with the Kaddish and the Mourner's Kaddish, so that's when you hear people, individually reading. It's from their childhood, I think, some people who learned it that way, because we used to learn, they used to, but until the state of Israel, for sure, it was Ashkenazi Hebrew. Then when we had the state of Israel, they used Sephardic Hebrew. When we got our Israeli teachers in our religious schools, then for sure we started with the Sephardic Hebrew, teaching the Sephardic Hebrew. So I'm not gonna, just so you know
that's
the
all
difference.
right. I'd like to.
And
How do I learn the Sephardic?
It depends if you want to learn it. If you want to learn it, you say Yit Kadal, the Yit Kadash. That S is gone, and it becomes a T. And the Rabbah, when you see the T that doesn't have a long thing, or it doesn't have a dot, these are the only differences really that I could think of. It's an ah, not an aw, and those are the differences. And another place you'll hear Ashkenazi Hebrew is in the Haredi community, in the Orthodox community. They usually use Ashkenazi Hebrew. Okay. Yitkadav Yitkadav Shemei Rabbah. Next one.
Bielma.
Yeah.
D. Varach. No, Varach.
Divra. Yeah.
I've read this so many times. Why can't I say it? I'm tongue tied. Divara. Here. Tay. No, I forgot.
Hirutay.
Pardon?
Hirutay.
Okay. Tay. I don't know. These. Yamlich. Malchute.
Good.
Bachai Yachon. Uviom Mechon. V'chaye.
Good. Yes. V'chaye.
Decha, I do remember now that Dechal and
Dechal.
I probably did learn this Sephardic, I forgot. Dechal, Yisrael, Agal, Gala, Uvizman, Kari, V'Yamaru, Orme.
Good. Okay. I realized that I didn't read it first, which I should have. So I'm just going to read that one time, and then I'm going to, we'll see. Yit Kadal v'Yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah. Somebody really wants to call. They called my home phone in this one. Sorry. Alma Divra Chirute v'Yamlich Machute. Sorry. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael v'agala uvizman kariv v'yimru amen, and we say amen.
I have a question
Yay.
on that
Yes.
first line. On the first
Yes.
line, it's Kiru Te, you said.
Chirute.
But there's a hey with a dot after that on my sitter.
Yes.
And so you so you don't say that at all? Okay.
How would you say it? Tell me how you'd say it.
I don't know. I was trying to figure.
That's my answer. There's no way to say it because there's
Okay.
no vowel.
Okay.
There's no
Thank
vowel.
you. Thank you.
Right at the end, if it was at the beginning, you might be able to say it. You can't say it at the end. I'm sure there's some way to say it, but you're not going to hear it. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mivarach LaOlam Olmei Olmaya. Okay, somebody else, and then we're going to end this just with that line. Read that line that we all read aloud. We all read together.
Hello?
Somebody can read this. Yes, Annalie.
You want me to read Yehei Shmei?
Yes, I do.
Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Olmei Olmaya.
Perfect. Okay. Now it is 11 o'clock and we didn't shut off. Thank goodness it worked today. But I am going to try next week, and I will send what we're going to do. We're going to do the different cottages, and maybe we'll even do, does anybody want to do the Kiddush? Tell me yes or no.
Oh.
For wine. Anybody want to do that? Friday night, Saturday morning, whatever?
Yes, I would like to do that.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So we're going to do all of them. Okay. That's
We bring
different.
some wine
That's
with
very
us?
different.
Should we bring
The
a
three
wine?
Kiddush. The
I
three
don't know,
Kiddushes
10 a.m. in the morning.
We can have grape juice.
Yeah, same one. Still the fruit of the vine. Okay, so that's really a separate one, though. The ones that are very similar but different, and we will discuss the differences are the Kadesh to Rabbanan, the Chatzi Kadesh, the Kadesh Shalem, and the Kadesh Yatom. Okay, Kiddush. So we have those four. So we'll talk about them, the differences, and we'll read them all next week. And then maybe we'll do the Kiddush just because or could do the Kiddush. We'll see. Maybe we'll do both of them, just even though they're not connected, the root connects them. So anything else? Any questions, comments, criticisms? And please feel free.
Question.
Yes, Linda.
What you said about the vowel that looks like a T that's shorter and longer. What is the shorter one and which is the longer one? The short one
When
is
it looks just like in our books, when it looks just like a little T, it's an ah sound. When it either is long in the middle or it has a dot underneath it. It's different in either of those two books. In the Lev Shalem and the Sim Shalom, it's different.
right.
It's an O sound.
Okay. All right. I never knew
coal.
that.
Coal is all, and like some of the words you'll know, and you're sort of familiar with the word, so you know, and it works.
Right.
But some of the words, when you're not familiar with it, that's when you need to know what.
So
what
the
it really
longer
like.
one, the longer one is the O.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or with the dot, depending on which siddur you're using.
Okay.
Yeah, Cindy. Yeah. You did.
There you go.
Yes,
Okay. I'm
Cindy.
learning how to
Yes.
do this on my phone. I'm sitting in my car.
Oh, I'm impressed.
The dot inside of a consonant that is
Yes.
not pronounced. What is that for?
It has to do with grammar, and it's the way it's read. And I'll ask Barry if he can tell me, but it actually should be a part of both syllables, the first syllable and the second syllable.
Oh, so you repeat. Okay. Okay. But
I think it's hasamim is like that. Hasamim. There would be part of both syllables grammatically. The
right,
one
actually,
before and the one after.
And care ute is like that too. Has a dot in the
And
A.
if it has, that it becomes part of both syllables. You don't
So how
you don't hear it when it's read, but grammatically that's what it is.
So how would you say that then? Care ute.
You read it just as if it didn't have that. I don't know where we are here, so I'm not.
I mean, I'm in Sim Shalom. It's the last letter. It's the word where someone said, "How do you say that?" Hey.
Oh yeah. Okay. Where was I? Okay. Yeah. That one I don't know. I obviously it's supposed to end the syllable. I think you can't end it like that. That's why it has the dot there. You don't pronounce it at all.
Okay.
It's as if it weren't there when you read it. It's really only a grammatical thing. There's no way really to read it. I mean, there's some things that we don't read, and I'm going to call Lucy, like the ayin. And our Hebrew is not the. Some people, and I'll think of it in a minute, read the ayin. There actually has a sound with the ayin. We don't say it that way. It would be very forced. But the hey, there's no way to say that. Yes, Joyce.
So I think in the word that I didn't know before with the hey, that the hey is silent when it's at the end of a word if it doesn't have a vowel, right? Is that the rule usually?
It doesn't have a vowel. Yeah. Anytime it doesn't have a vowel. If you say it like an H sound, it will have a vowel underneath it. There's no way to do it otherwise.
Okay, so that's probably why it's silent, because it just has a little dot, but it's not a real vowel. Got it now. Thank you for being so patient.
No problem. Yes.
Can I just ask, as far as the Sidors, the ones that I had, I don't think were this art stain for the ones that you want. Which are the two versions of it?
That is Art Scroll, I think you have.
Yeah.
No, we are using either the Sim Shalom or the Lev Shalem.
Okay, that'll be much easier. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it was in the first message, but I didn't remind people. Thank you. No problem. Yes, Ruth and then Gail.
I'm just interested. Mine is a United Synagogue of America book.
Yes. When is that from?
And it says here, Sidur Tefillot Yisrael. And my daughter got this in 1991 at her bat mitzvah, but it's a conservative book, but it seems to be very different from yours.
Is it black?
Yes.
It's Stein something, but it's in the front. That's an old one. I don't know of any synagogues that use that anymore.
I'm just curious why it doesn't have some of these prayers.
You don't use it in your shul. Do you use that in your shul?
No, it's just the only one I had at home.
One of the reasons that we use that we're doing Lev Shalem or Sim Shalom, not one of the reasons. The reason is those are the books that most of your shuls, I assume, are using, and we want you to be comfortable when you go into the shul. Or God willing, we'll all be in the shul. So thank you. She's prepared no matter where she goes for them. You're ready. That you can use the Siddur and you'll recognize it, because I have to say also, when the prayers are different on the page, it's a little harder for anybody when it looks different. Would you shut up? Who's bothering you?
I'm going to go to my synagogue and borrow one.
Yeah, so that's the reason we're using it. First of all, it's easier not to have six. Goodbye. But not to have six different Siddurim. But those are, as far as I know, all of your shuls are either using Sim Shalom. Would you shut up? Either using Sim Shalom or Lev Shalem.
Okay.
Except for I know there's a shul in Long Island that's the rabbi wrote a Siddur, and I know there's a shul in Elkins Park where one of the rabbis also wrote a Siddur. But most of us are using those two.
They
So
got a
that's
brand
why.
new one and I haven't been there since the COVID, so I don't know
Yeah.
which one it is.
Yeah, so that's what I would suggest. It would be easier for you to
Okay.
use that. I mean, you could find the prayers and I could tell you where to find them, but I think it would be easier if you used one of those two books.
No, I would just, because I couldn't find the prayer for Israel anywhere, and that was bothering me.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, anybody else? Somebody else? That Lucy, did you have a question?
Yes, I
just
just
have to leave
wondered,
the
how
class.
do we
I
get the?
just have to leave. I'm sorry. Thank
Okay,
you.
Linda, goodbye. Thank you for coming. And I
I'll
hope to
see you
see you
next
again.
week.
And a
Bye-bye.
Shabbat Shalom. Good,
Shabbat shalom.
good.
Judy, I
anybody else
put
have any
I put some of the page numbers from Lev Shalem in the chat.
Good. Okay.
Thank you.
Because
How do-
I
how do we-
had them all marked from the last class that I did, when we did some of these same prayers. And so I had the
Great.
page numbers all marked.
Great.
How
Great.
do we get the recording, Judy?
Okay, there's two issues. One is, I know there was a problem at Women's League because somebody had COVID and somebody else had something else. You go to the website and if it's up, it won't be up yet. They have to, I think they edit it or whatever. But you go to the website, you log in, and you go to, I wrote it to somebody. I'm going to send it out again. I wrote it to somebody who asked me for the link to it. I know exactly, I can tell you each step, but it is on the website under Hebrew classes, and it should be, I doubt that it will be today. It should be sometime before next week. I can't tell you exactly when, but I will send it out again.
I think you go to programming.
Yeah, and then
And
you
then-
go, and then Hebrew classes comes up,
Classes.
right?
Right.
And then you just have to go to which Hebrew class it is. Yeah, thank you. Programs, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have on the website. But I don't think it will be today. The last one I tried on Wednesday, and it wasn't up. But I think there were problems, and with the staff in the office.